Welcome back to Human Centered Experience. I'm your host. If you work in strategy design or operations, you have undoubtedly sat in a room with a service blueprint. It's usually printed on large paper, taking up an entire wall. It's covered in post it notes. It has swim lanes separating the customer actions from front stage employees and backstage support processes. It is a magnificent artifact of organizational effort. It is also a lie. Okay, maybe lie is too strong. Let's call it a historical document. The moment that blueprint is printed, it's obsolete. Why? Because the modern enterprise is not a static map. It's a volatile, high frequency trading floor of experiences. A server update in Delhi 5 minutes ago is currently changing the checkout experience for a user in Toronto right now. Your static blueprint didn't capture that update, and it certainly can't predict the outcome. Today, we are moving beyond the map. We're talking about customer digital DNA. We're going to explore how we stop treating customer data, operational data, and financial data as separate entities. We're going to discuss how AI, specifically knowledge graphs, acts as a connective tissue that binds these disparate worlds together into a single living organism. And critically, we will discuss how this shift allows leaders to move from reactive firefighting, chasing bad NPS scores, to proactive genetic engineering of the customer journey. To understand digital DNA, we have to stop thinking in spreadsheets and start thinking in networks. If you visualize a knowledge graph, it looks a bit like a constellation of stars connected by lines. The stars are nodes. These are the entities of your business reality. You have customer nodes, who they are, their history, their segment. Then you have touchpoint nodes, the specific moment of interaction, the mobile app login screen, the IVR menu. And then we have the system nodes, the backend machinery, the authentication server, inventory database, and the payment gateway. And then comes the resource nodes, the human or digital agents handling the workload. Now, in a traditional database, you connect these things with a simple line that just says these are related. But in an AI powered knowledge graph, the magic is in the edges, the lines connecting the stars. In our models, an edge isn't just a connector, it's a heavy carrier of live information. We look at temporal edges, the exact time to resolution flowing between nodes. We look at financial edges, the real time cost accruing as a customer moves from node to node. And perhaps most importantly, we look at causal edges. This is where the AI performs its most vital work. It calculates the statistical probability that a failure in a system node, say a database query that's running 400 milliseconds slow, will infect the customer node with negative sentiment down the line. But there's a missing piece I haven't mentioned yet. What about the messy stuff? The angry emails, the sarcastic tweets, the call center recordings. A static blueprint has a hard time showing emotion, but a knowledge graph thrives on it. We use NLP not just to read an email, but to convert that emotion into a mathematical weight within the graph. If a customer sends an angry text, the NLP doesn't just flag it as negative, it identifies the specific topic, say billing confusion, and instantly increases the weight of the edge connecting that customer node to the billing process node. Suddenly, your operational map isn't just showing process flow, it's showing emotional heat. So you've built this dynamic map. You have your nodes and your weighted edges. Why does this matter to the C suite? Because it solves the biggest problem in modern CX measurement, the reliance on lagging indicators. Most organizations live and die by CSAT or NPS. But let's be brutally honest. A survey is an autopsy. You're asking the customer, tell us how much pain you were in, days or weeks after the event. You can't fix the experience for that customer. You can only hope to fix it for the next one. In the world of digital DNA, we move to predictive CSAT. Instead of waiting for a survey, we use advanced AI techniques like graph neural networks to predict the score in real time. Now, I won't bore you with the complex math, but think of it like this. The AI is performing message passing. It's constantly listening to the gossip happening across the entire network. Imagine a customer is currently trying to upgrade their subscription. The AI is listening to the nodes involved in that moment. The system node whispers, I'm experiencing 20% higher latency than yesterday on upgrade requests. The touchpoint node whispers, This user has clicked the help button twice in 60 seconds. The customer history node whispers, this customer previously churned due to technical friction. A human analyst could never synthesize those three disparate facts in real time, but the graph neural network does it instantly. It aggregates the weights of those failures and frictions. Before the customer even finishes their session, the model predicts their CSAT is dropping from a forecasted 9 to a 4. They are now a high churn risk. This is the fundamental shift. We are no longer reacting to a bad review on Monday morning. We are reacting to a digital signal that turned red on Friday afternoon. This predictive capability changes how executives make decisions. It turns CX from a soft skill into hard science. If you're a leader, you're constantly managing trade offs under budget constraints. The VP of Ops wants to hire more people. The CTO wants to migrate to a new cloud provider. The CMO wants to redesign the app interface. Who gets the budget? Usually, it's whoever tells the best story. With customer digital DNA, you stop guessing and start simulating. We call this sensitivity analysis because all the data, financial, operational, and experiential, is bound together. You can virtually pull levers on your dashboard to see the ripple effect. Let's look at a hypothetical banking example. The data shows that customers are frustrated with mortgage applications. You can ask the model, if we invest $500,000 to reduce the latency of the document upload API by 30%, what is the projected impact on end of journey CSAT? The model traces that causal edge and predicts a 12% lift in satisfaction. Then you ask, what if we spend that same amount hiring more loan officers to manually review documents? The model might predict only a 4% lift because a bottleneck isn't human capacity, it's digital friction. You can do this in retail too. You can simulate the impact of changing your return policy on lifetime value versus immediate shipping costs. This is how you de risk innovation. You test your hypothesis against your organization's digital DNA before you spend a single real world dollar. Now, if I have done my job well, this all sounds very enticing. A unified theory of everything in your business predicted by AI. But I need to inject a dose of reality. The hardest part of moving from service blueprints to digital DNA is not the math, it's not the AI. The hardest part is the politics. A service blueprint is easy because it's just drawings on paper. Nobody feels threatened by a post it note. But a knowledge graph requires actual data integration. And that means breaking down the most stubborn silos in corporate history. To build this, the head of CX needs real time feed access from the CIO's servers. They need cost per transaction data from the CFO's team. They need staffing utilization rates from HR and operations. In many orgs, these departments are in open warfare with each other over data ownership. The IT department says server logs are operational data, not customer data. The finance team would say unit economics are confidential. If you want to build customer digital DNA, the CEO has to mandate a cultural shift. They have to declare that all data is customer data. If a server rack in a data center is overheating and slowing down a transaction, that temperature reading is no longer just an IT metric. It is a CX metric. If you cannot win that political battle, your knowledge graph will have massive blind spots. It'll be like trying to predict the weather by only looking out the window on the north side of the building. You need the 360 degrees view. Now, as we wrap up, I want to address a fear I often hear from designers and operations people and the IT people when I talk about nodes, edges, and neural networks. The fear is that by mechanizing the view of the customer, we lose the humanity. We reduce people to data points. I argue the exact opposite. When we rely on static blueprints and lagging surveys, we are failing our customers. We are waiting for them to suffer before we notice them. That is not human centered. By binding these data sets together using AI, we are actually building digital empathy. True empathy is the ability to understand the feelings of another and anticipating their needs. By using AI to monitor the pulse of every system, process, and interaction, we are showing that we care enough to notice the friction before the customer has to complain about it. The future of CX isn't about drawing better maps of the past. It's about building a nervous system for the future, one that feels what the customer feels in real time. Stop drawing, start architecting. Thanks for listening to my podcast. If you found this insightful, please subscribe, share, and check out my recent article on this topic on LinkedIn. As always, feel free to get in touch with me with comments, suggestions, and ideas. I'm Hitesh, and I'll see you next time.